Alright, I'm going to show y'all how to make a cayenne pepper tincture. And what you're going to need is you're going to need some powdered cayenne pepper, for one. This is, I believe it's 40,000 Scoville heat units, and that just means how hot it is. It can go up to 70,000, 90,000, 40,000 has always been sufficient for me. I got this off of Amazon, and this is what I've been using to make my cayenne pepper tinctures, and they've always been just right. So you're going to need some, like I said, some type of powdered cayenne pepper. You're going to need a jar. I'm using a quart size jar, and at least 80 proof vodka. You can use 100 proof. 100 proof is even better, but if I mostly use 80 proof because I can't get my hands on 100 proof. But I can 80 proof. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pepper and you're going to pour it into your jar, and then you're just going to add the vodka. But when you're handling cayenne pepper, try not to be directly over it and breathe it in, because it will make you cough, okay? That stuff has got some heat to it. So very carefully, we're going to fill our quart size jar. Now, I'll put about probably a third powder in this jar. I might put a little bit more. Usually I put between a third and a half of my powder into a quart size jar. So we're going to go ahead and just do that. Okay, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pour it in up here really slowly until I get the desired amount that I'm looking for. And a funnel is extremely handy. And I advise you use a funnel. It's less messy. Matter of fact, I might be almost through with this bag here, which is fine. Let's see how much we've got in there by shaking the jar to level it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Yeah, I'm actually going to use what's left up in this bag, because I've got 2 more bags put to the side of exactly this kind. Alright. We're going to shake it, shimmy it down, and that's right at almost half, I guess. Now a lot of people tell you that's too much. This is how much I normally put in here. To me, that's not too much. It's a third. Yeah, it's a little over a third of the jar. So now all I'm gonna do is fill it up full of vodka. Switch hands again. Very simple, very easy. Just pour it in there. Now stop when you get about that full. Grab something like a butter knife. I don't have one in here at the moment, or a fork or something, just to stir to get that powder. And try not to slosh it either, to get that powder all wet. And that way you can go ahead and fill up the rest with vodka. Put your lid on nice and snug, and then you can shake it and leave it out somewhere where you can see it every day for at least a few days or a handful of days, because you're really going to want it to shake this once or twice a day until it just all gets incorporated really, really well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and leave the fork in there and put some more vodka in there. And that way, when I bring out my fork, it won't have a lot of pepper stuck to it. And I have a paper towel over here that I can just put the fork on without making a mess. Alright, you can take your strainer out too. Make sure you have a plate or something that you can put that on top of, because it will stain your countertops. And go ahead and fill it full of vodka, right up to the rim. And then cap it. I have a seal on this cap. These seals are aggravating because they don't want to stay in place half the time. But I just work with it and make it work. So we're just going to cap it right now. Okay, we've got our cap on, and we're just going to take it and we're going to shake it. You see there's still some cayenne at the bottom you want to get. And then you'll eventually see it. It'll eventually get it. But just shake it really well until you get it all mixed in real fine. And label it. I have labels where I put them. I used to put them on the side here on my old jars, but now I've got labels. These hang on. These labels here, they fit right perfectly on top of this jar lid. And then I'll write what it is and when I did it, so I'll know how old it's, how old the tincture is or how long it's been steeping for. So that's as simple as it is to make a cayenne pepper tincture. And then I'm going to show you with an older tincture I've had that I've just been drawing it out of the jar literally and hadn't strained it yet, that I need to go ahead and strain it because the liquid form is getting down to the powder, and I need to go ahead and squeeze that powder and get the rest of the tincture out of it. Normally you would just take the whole jar whenever it reaches the point of straining it and dump it into your jelly bag or whatever you use to strain it with and squeeze it all at one time. Me, sometimes on certain herbs, I just draw it right out of the jar instead of straining it all at once. But everybody does different things, different ways, different things. I don't do that with all my herbs, just with some of them when I really don't have time to strain it or get it going, or I just take care of it when I can. It doesn't harm it either way. Okay, so you're probably wondering exactly what is cayenne pepper tincture used for. Cayenne pepper is the one herb I would not be found without. It is, for me, it is a heart tonic. It's a super herb. It helps other herbs. It gives them a kick. It helps them kind of like get them going. It's a powerhouse herb. Now I'm going to read you a little something about cayenne pepper from the School of Natural Healing. And that's Doc Christopher right there from his book. He's a very well-known herbalist. Cayenne is the purest and most certain stimulant, used medicinally and also as a condiment. This herb is a great food for the circulatory system. It feeds elements that may be lacking into the cell structure of the arteries, veins, and capillaries to give them the elasticity of youth again as the blood pressure adjusts itself to normal. When the venous structure becomes loaded with sticky mucus, the blood has a harder time circulating. Therefore, higher pressure forces the liquid through. Cayenne regulates the flow of blood from the head to the feet so that it is equalized. Cayenne, as a stimulant, is an activator, carrier, and accentuator. Now, here's a very important part right here. Cayenne influences the heart immediately, then gradually extends its effects to the arteries, capillaries, and nerves. The frequency of the pulse is not increased, but it is given more power. In equalizing the blood circulation, cayenne produces natural warmth, and in stimulating the peristaltic motion of the intestines, it aids in assimilation and elimination. It rebuilds the tissue in the stomach. It also heals stomach and intestinal ulcers. And then there's a list of things that you can read. Mine was heart trouble. That's the reason I take it. And I also had palpitations. You see palpitations down there. And also flow through my the blood flow through my hands. Cayenne is, here's some more you can read about it. You just have to pause the video and read it. But here's the thing about cayenne. You can, honestly, cayenne pepper, and it's been shown in the medical world as well, if you don't want to believe in herbalists, cayenne pepper can stop a heart attack and a stroke in its tracks. If you have some cayenne pepper tincture on hand, and if you or someone you know might be having a heart attack or something, you can squeeze some underneath their tongue. Yes, it's going to burn. It's not going to burn it like fire, but it's going to, literally feel like it's burning, and it's going to stimulate, and it's going to stop that attack, whether it's a heart attack or a stroke. So it's extremely beneficial to have on hand. It can also stop blood if if you're bleeding, if you cut yourself and you're bleeding a lot, or you can put that on it. I usually use yarrow for bleeding, but cayenne can stop the blood. Also, if someone is in shock, or if your dog, use it on your animals. If your dog gets hit or something and he's in shock, and you give them some cayenne and it brings them out of shock. Look this up for yourself. Don't take my word for anything I tell you. Do your own research and look it up. I would not be found without my cayenne tincture, period. Here's another book where it says cayenne contains vitamins A and C along with the alkaloid capsaicin, considered a powerful stimulant and irritant. And then it just goes along and tells you, it's got a burning sensation. If you touch your eyes or mouth or something, it will burn. But it blocks pain, inducing well-being. So, it will help you with pain also. It's wonderful to put into a pain formula tincture. So that's why I say cayenne pepper is my #1 herb. It is. It has become my best friend as far as the herbal world goes. I take cayenne pepper tincture and hawthorn berry tincture for my heart. I was on Eliquis because I had a blood clot, 4 or 5 years ago. Doctors can't explain it. I can't explain it because I didn't have anything, the normal stuff that would have happened that would have caused it. So that rules that out. But 5 years ago, I had one, and they had put me on Eliquis, and then heart palpitations and all that hoo-ha. Of course, here comes the blood pressure, pharma, poison. And then Yahuwah took control of my days, and he started sharing with me his wisdom, his de'oth, his hakmah, or his knowledge, his de'oth with me, and led me down this path of becoming an herbalist and studying his remedies, not the pharma poisons, okay? So I started taking those 2 tinctures, cayenne pepper tincture and hawthorn berry tincture, that I made. And I have been off of that pharma poison for a few years now, and it's wonderful. And so if I have any other elements, I look it up, I study it, I make a tincture or a balm or something, or salve, and I help fix it, because he's given us the gift of his natural herbs. They're so very important. I ain't a doc, I ain't a nurse. I'm not telling you to do this. This is what I do. It's so beneficial. Do your own research. Learn how to make these. Learn how to take these. Learn how important it is to get your health back. All right. I'm going to now show you how to strain a cayenne pepper tincture. So, here we go.